Hello and welcome to the I Love You Bet podcast. I'm Heather and this is my sister,
Rian. Each week we will revisit relics of our childhoods using our multiple master's degrees
to critically evaluate the crap that consumed our misspent youth. So join us,
sisters, latchkey kids, Hotspurs, and lazy feminists as we look back at our past to say, I love you, but...
Hey listeners, welcome back to season 5. We are doing a brief summer series called Alt Shakespeare, and we've been recording these sort of haphazardly and trying to fit things into a calendar and schedule that doesn't really make sense. Just a few things here. You'll hear us refer to franchising as a concept of procreation. We actually make that joke in another episode. But originally, I thought this was going to be one episode, and then it ended up being 2 hours long. So I broke it up into 2 episodes. So that's super fun. I also mentioned a first edition leather-bound copy of a Death and Equity and Interpretation by Charles E. Phelps. This book was signed by Walter S. Vest, MD, from Huntington, West Virginia, and he stamped his little book stamp all over it to the Vests of West Virginia. If you're looking for this, just let me know. I can get this back to you. Otherwise, it's going to be for the Davises of Texas and Kentucky. All right. I hope you guys enjoy Summer Shakespeare. So ask me the question again.
What are you doing?
What am I doing? Oh, dear sister, I was just flipping through this book called Falstaff and Equity and Interpretation. I happen to have a first edition leather-bound.
Hold on. An equity in interpretation?
Falstaff and, so Falstaff also equity and one of interpretation.
Okay.
So I got this book from our friend Katie, who picked it up somewhere because I was like, it says Falstaff. And literally, that's the only reason she bought it for me.
Not surprising.
And so I was just kind of flipping through to find a page that might have an interesting quote that I could read to you from this book.
Okay.
But then I just kept reading.
Well, that's good. It's compelling, I guess.
Until I'd read the whole page. So that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Which is appropriate because...
Do you think you're going to read the whole book now?
Well, I had started the book previously, and it's been sitting in my TBR, my to be read pile, for, I don't know, 2 years. So maybe I'll just randomly open it and read pages and then eventually say, I'm done.
It's a fun way to page a day.
It's not a page a day, probably. I'm not gonna Bible it, but I'll check it out. But it's appropriate because today we're gonna be talking about Chimes at Midnight, which is Orson Welles' interpretation of Falstaff through Shakespeare. And we don't have to get into that right away.
No,
because we're going to talk about
it first. We have a formula.
We have a formula. It is a holiday episode. It is going to be a combined Mother's Day / Father's Day episode. And we will tell you why soon.
Stay tuned.
So, sister, how have you wasted time this week?
I'm on summer break, so there's been a lot more time to waste, which is nice, but also a struggle for those of us who have a hard time managing our time. But so one way I've wasted time is, so Elliot is very particular about what he'll eat. Not about what he'll eat. He'll eat lots of things, but he wants like the same brand he won't eat a different version of something once he has attached.
He has autism that shows up in his eating habits. Yes.
But I was like, these like little mini muffins that he eats every day have so much preservatives in them, and now that I have time, I'm gonna make them. So I made muffins for him, and he didn't like them, but he did try them, so that was good because he tried the batter, which admittedly because I made a healthy version, which was dumb to begin with, but And then he said he tried one at camp and didn't like them, and he told his counselor how much he didn't like them. So anyways, that was a fail. And then he has discovered that he likes chocolate pudding in cups. And I'm like, well, I can make chocolate pudding. So I made chocolate pudding, but I didn't quite have enough cornstarch, so it didn't fully get pudding thick. But I didn't change anything else. And he was like, it tastes like ice cream, which apparently was offensive to him, even though he loves chocolate ice cream. So I wasted a lot of time trying to have my child eat less preservatives to no avail. So that's one way. This is my version of mom's you don't eat enough vegetables, so you're gonna eat canned green beans. I'm like, you eat too many preservatives, so I'm gonna try to bake things. I watched The Boroughs. I've been to watch The Boroughs.
I don't think preservatives are the problem. Please continue about The Boroughs.
Part of a problem. I know the real problem is the sugar, but
The Boroughs?
Yes, I binge watched The Boroughs, which I wasn't sure about because I don't like scary things very much.
But it's horror comedy, right?
There's comedy in it, yeah. So there's dark comedy, right? So, which even that sometimes you just never know. I'm so sensitive, so I usually avoid it. But I saw a chatter online saying how good it was, and it is I have determined that it is E.T. and Cocoon, and I came up with a third one, but I forgot it. So Cocoon and E.T. and something else. Maybe the Goonies a little bit of the Goonies.
So it's very Gen X nostalgia coded.
Yes.
Have you heard that people who are in our group where we're like baby Gen X, but elder millennial, Xennial or Cuspers or whatever, many of them are petitioning that we should rename ourselves the Goonies. And I would just right now to tell all those people that I am not a part of their generation. And by your face, I think you agree.
Oh, I couldn't even watch that movie. Remember? There's so much screaming.
And the Goonies is a boy shit show. No, I am not.
No, I'm not here for any of that. No.
We can be the Cabbage Patch Kids. I'd be fine with that.
What happened to Gen Y?
Gen Y is millennial. They just renamed it.
Well, there could be Gen Y, and then millennial could be its own other thing. So
I'm fine with that. Cabbage Patch Kids or Gen Y, I'm fine with either one.
Cabbage Patch Kids is good. I actually like that.
It makes sense, right?
But you've seen all this stuff? Probably not. Everyone's like, my kids are having a 90s summer, or we're raising our children like 90s kids. And it's it's so dumb. It's
you're just letting them watch a lot of television?
No, they're going to play outside and da-da-da-da-da. And then I saw one where it's all we did in the summer in the 90s was watch TV all day.
That we shouldn't have been watching.
The Price is Right until the soap operas start, right? That's One Life to Live, baby. That was the best summer ever.
I mean, we did go outside. We did go outside.
I think they're thinking summer.
Right. 1950s summer. Drinking out of the hose. And
we did make America great again. We did drink out of the hose, though. So
that is true.
So those are the main ways I've wasted time this week.
Well, can I tell you about my new favorite television show?
Sure.
So it's on Threads, and it is
It's on Threads? What?
The social media app that is... No, it's not a real television series.
Okay. It's destruction of our society.
No, but it's the best TV I've ever watched. Okay. I think I told you about it. So it's Aasha, the writer, and she's watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time.
If you've told me, I don't remember, but okay.
Okay. So she started, I don't know, sometime in the past couple of weeks. And she was born in 1990. So she never watched it, right? Because she was a little bitty baby child when it was on. And she has caught Spuffy fever so bad. She wants Spike and Buffy together so bad, to the point where she's like, I don't understand this because I'm a lesbian, but I had a sex dream about Spike.
I mean, I can see it.
No. So when that started happening, I actually sent a screenshot to my friend Sarah in LA, because she and I watched all the Spuffy, we hardcore binge Spuffy. And like, I was like, they just need to edit this show where all it is Spike. And like, I don't want to see anything else. Like, just want to see Spike and Buffy. And like, we would be cursing the writers who hated Spike. And like, it was a whole thing. So I sent it to her because I was like, oh my God, this is happening and it's happening. And Sarah's a lesbian. And she was like, she called me and she was like, oh my God, Anna, blah, blah, blah. And like, we were talking and she goes, listen, you just need to tell that girl that she's Spike sexual. It's a thing.
Do they have a flag?
Right.
No shade to Pride Month, but yes, like I love.
So I've commented on that one about the sex dream, and I was like, I just asked my lesbian friend, and I did the trademark thing. She says you're Spike sexual. It's fine.
Let us know if she commented back at you. That could be, so maybe we can make that a category too. It's like movies we love making people watch for the first time or something. Because like I really thought of like, and I know we're going to do this in a different category, the Kathleen Turner Cinderella. Like,
oh yeah,
just like I'm just watching to see how you react, and it's like a friend. I think it could be the friend test.
It could be a friend test, that's for sure.
Like if they don't react the way they should,
as in delight.
Then it's like,
unfettered delight is the only appropriate reaction to Kathleen Turner's version of
what the fuck. Okay, can I briefly do one more thing? Another way I've wasted time.
You can after I finish telling you a little bit more about. It's my favorite TV show, Ryan. I have to tell you more.
Oh.
So the thing was, and I can say it now because she's got there, all of us are like trying to protect her. We're like, no spoilers. We're like blocking people and shaming them, like people. And like, because the problem was she was coming up to the body.
Okay.
Where Joyce dies.
Okay. I don't know.
And we're all like, we got to protect this little baby girl. Like, and the problem, like, she didn't know because nobody would tell her. She stopped the episode before, the night before, and was like, okay, I'm done. And we're all like, what is she getting up? Oh no. And everybody like yesterday was like, is she up? Is she up? Has she seen it yet? And she like, as soon as she realized what happened, she was like, I have to go smoke a J. I can't deal with this. And everybody's like flooding. It's like, it's okay. We're here for you. Like, I mean, she like it took her all morning to get through the episode because like it's like one of the few times that television, it was definitely one of the first times that television made me cry. Like Ryan is making a face like this is not a thing for her at all.
Not so much.
It's a really great episode of television. Like it is a beautifully
like,
written.
I vaguely remember it. Like I'm sure it made me cry too. Like this is so Gen Z. Like we have to protect this baby.
No. That's not who's protecting her. It is Gen X and Cabbage Patch Kids.
And but I guess with real, and then she's not a Gen Z. She's a millennial. She was born in the 90s, but still, just like it's gonna take me a whole day to get through this episode of television.
Not a day. I said a morning.
Okay, but sorry,
she had to deal. She had
older Wednesday. I really know that I am, but anyways,
no. Like we're protecting baby girl at all costs, and I won't have you talk any shit about it. Like
I'm not talking shit. I'm just I am intrigued by this cultural phenomenon, and I love.
You're uninvited from Threads.
I don't. Okay, great. That invitation expired a long time ago. That right? Like I never got on Twitter.
It's okay. You would never get anything done. You're right about that.
No, I mean I do love the like all of these strangers coming together as a community around this thing. Like I do. I admire and love that is happening.
It's true. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
What?
I said I love that for you all.
Oh, you love that for us?
Bless your heart.
Bless our hearts. Hey, what other thing were you going to tell us about how you wasted time?
I accepted the realities that I waste a lot of my time with much ado about nothing. And
yes,
although it's not really nothing. So I've been very involved with like my local school board and superintendent and all of that for like the past year.
Yes.
Girl. It has become like Netflix is going to make a docuseries about this whole thing because of what has happened in the last week, and it's not even done yet.
I'm sorry, Netflix, you can purchase that from us because we're going to write it and we own the IP, and I just said so. Poor man trademark. Poor man copyright right now.
Well, one of the student board members did kind of say one day she's going to write a book, but it was a very elusive post. But still, yes.
Well, I've already written 3 books, so she can kiss my ass.
But anyways, I will try to give you the very, very Cliff Notes version.
No, but why? But just give me like one highlight, because you can't give it away. We could do a whole podcast about this. Come on, girl. Get it together.
3 a.m. Tuesday morning, our superintendent sent an email resigning.
Yes.
3 a.m.
That shit thing to do.
Yes. Then at 9 p.m. Tuesday, so then it hits the media like Tuesday evening.
Yep.
Right? Like I go give Elliot a bath, I come back to my phone and I have 8,000 bajillion texts and messages. I'm like, what the fuck happened? And then 30 minutes later, after it hits the media, old boy was like, I didn't resign. That was not a resignation. I'm entering into separation negotiations.
I still love that. He's going to conscious uncouple from his job.
No, so then everyone's like, so then the emails get leaked. He's like, so we're all like, did you Ambien resign? Like, what the fuck is happening at 3 a.m.? So that's how we found out the 3 a.m. So a special cult meeting, paid leave, while they figure out. Yesterday.
But no, don't say what happens next. No. If you guys want to find out what's going to happen next, please tune in to our forthcoming podcast. I'm calling Richard Linklater. It's going to be such a great movie.
No, but then this is also, then his husband did a bunch of shit in Texas too. It is fucking bananas. Like,
I just love that you've like been like for months now, been like, this dude is shady as fuck. And like,
yes. Oh my God.
You've had to fight.
People are like, yes, because I mean, yes, like, I mean, I was like, I don't think he stole anything. I think it's just fiscal mismanagement. But maybe it's more like, if anyone listening to me talk about going to all these school board meetings has thought it was much ado about nothing. In fact, it was not.
It was much ado about every fucking thing.
It was much ado about a lot of things. Millions of fucking dollars. Taxpayer dollars.
The tea of all teas.
Oh my God, like the Boston Tea Party ain't got nothing on this shit.
All right, shall we get into it? Chimes at Midnight with Orson Welles, as previously mentioned. And we got a little bit of backstory to get into before we can actually talk about that. Before we talk about Chimes at Midnight, do you want to talk about why it's a Mother's Day movie and I talk about fathers, or vice versa?
Oh, I'll do Father's Day because it relates to.
So I'm just going to drag mom real fast and out her. So the first time that our mother ever had an orgasm was because she was watching something that had Orson Welles in it, and she really liked his voice.
Wait, okay. So do we know that's specifically true? Or
yes.
All I remember her saying is that his voice just really, obviously I've never heard mom say the word orgasm. Is that like 100% that is what happened? You're not just like making assumptions based on the way she talks about Orson Welles' voice?
So it's the way that our memory works, where every time we remember something, we change it a little bit. And that's why all testimony is unreliable. Fucking no.
Oh, okay.
She told me that like drunk one time, or if my brain thinks that's a delightful truth. But as far as I'm concerned, that's what happened. I mean, she was a horse girl, too. So let's be real. It maybe was not her first orgasm. She could have had her first orgasm on a horse. All right. So that's why this is a Mother's Day episode. Now, Rian Davis, why is it a Father's Day episode?
The reason it is a Father's Day episode is because when I was pregnant with Elliot, when we started talking about what mom and dad wanted their grandparent names to be, our father, Mark Davis, said he wanted his grandparent name to be Falstaff. And I will admit that I had no idea who the fuck Falstaff was. And despite his very base, crass sense of humor, at one point in time, our father knew a lot about Shakespeare and read a lot of Shakespeare and was a very cultured person.
I don't know if he was ever a very cultured person.
Okay,
he knew a lot about Shakespeare.
He knew a lot about Shakespeare, which is maybe one reason I'm like, fuck Shakespeare. But anyway, my daddy issues.
A lot of people don't know who Sir John Falstaff was. He was a fictional character, I believe this is from en.wikipedia.org, who appears in 3 plays by William Shakespeare and is eulogized in a 4th. His significance as a fully developed character is primarily formed in the plays Henry IV, Part 1 and 2, where he is a companion to Prince Hal, the future King Henry V of England. Falstaff is also featured as the buffoonish suitor of two married women in The Merry Wives of Windsor. Though primarily a comic figure, he embodies a depth common to Shakespeare's major characters. A fat, vain, and boastful knight, he spends most of his time drinking at the Boar's Head Inn with petty criminals, living on stolen or borrowed money. Falstaff leads the apparently wayward Prince Hal into trouble and is repudiated when Hal becomes king. So again, our father had full use of the English language and even made up words like pop-up and bullshit like that. And other language, he could have gone for papa. Like, there's tons of grandpa words in this world.
Yes.
And he chose to name himself after a fat, vain, and boastful knight.
It really showed a level of reflexivity that I didn't know Dad had.
True.
Because when I read the description, I was like, oh, well, that tracks. I remember, like, when we started telling people, we were like, Falstaff, like, what? And then we'd be like, well, let me read you this description on Wikipedia. Some of them would be like, I still don't get it. And then some of them would be like, oh, no, that tracks. I mean, and then this, like, the amount of Santa Claus that Orson Welles is giving.
Yes.
As Falstaff, like, it just takes it. Like, and maybe that's what Dad was thinking. I don't know. Like, he wasn't thinking.
No, he definitely saw himself, like, I think in his head, Dan's Bar is the Boar's Head Inn.
Boar's Head Inn.
And he was Falstaff.
Like, all the places he frequented were like versions of the. So who was his Prince Hal, though? He didn't have a Prince Hal. Was he hoping Elliot would be his Prince Hal?
Possibly. I think he was sad that he never had a Prince Hal to misguide. I don't know.
He tried with me, and then I told him to fuck off. Like,
all he ever did with me was try to set me up with people, but the only people he knew were alcoholics who went to Dan's Bar. Never worked out.
Mine was sports related. Like,
and that's when he started calling me the atheist nun. It started in junior high when he was calling me a lesbian. And then it was trying to get me married off so that I could franchise for him. And then when that ever worked, it never worked when he tried to set me up with anyone. But it was nice that he was trying. I mean, nobody really tries. So I guess there's that.
He really wanted it to franchise.
He was very self-aware, not very Heather aware. When it never worked to set me up, he just decided that I was an atheist then. So good times.
An atheist.
I'm gonna give two Letterboxd reviews of the Chimes at Midnight, and then we can talk about our interpretation. So Jake Cole says 5 stars. 5 stars from Jake Cole.
Oh. Whoa, okay.
What a sublime pleasure it is to see this film restored, to be able to appreciate its wild beauty, itself a magnificent achievement given Welles's ludicrous setbacks and pauses in filming, to the fullest expression, and to see that Orson truly was that bitch. That bitch. That bitch. Not that bitch. That bitch. That's the bitch.
Oh, no, that. EAT, right?
Welles's Shakespeare adaptation perfected the balance between theatrical opulence, revisionist grit and filth, and the freer possibilities of cinema. And Chimes at Midnight is the ultimate synthesis of these traits. And then, this is a very short, unhinged review like I give from Dante. 4 stars, not 5.
Yeah.
Interviewer. Ma'am, why and how is Orson Welles hot? Me. Drenched in sweat, shaking, him big. Which is what I think Mom would say.
Somebody going to the bear convention at the Griffin Gate or the Clarion Hotel.
So just like our favorite John, Roseanne husband.
Connor.
No, his real name, the actor.
Oh, John Goodman.
John Goodman had to lose weight to play Babe Ruth. Orson Welles had to lose weight to play Falstaff, which is fascinating when you see him in the picture. He is quite large and very much.
I found this movie to be incredibly fucking boring pretty early on.
I quit watching about halfway through. It's 2 hours long. That is very long.
Again, way too fucking long. But just 60s British ridiculous acting.
Yes.
I mean, I did write that it seems appropriate that I'm eating peanut butter while watching this. Sorry, I just saw that note. So anyways, because I was bored out of my goddamn mind, I'd already quit watching one movie halfway through. I was like, okay. So I kept it playing and stopped paying attention to it. And I did so much research. Like I went down so many rabbit holes. But one of the things, so in that first interview where it's talking about the setbacks, what those setbacks were and the pauses and filming.
No.
He kept losing funding. And part of the reason was, so his original funding he got by lying about making, he said he was making Treasure Island.
I knew that.
And so like, I mean, I don't know when you want to keep going with this, but like, I mean, this was his fucking opus. Like this man was obsessed with the character Falstaff.
Yes.
Like he was absolutely obsessed. He said that it was his life's ambition to portray Falstaff. I mean, and so then I'm like, why? Why? Like, how did you get like this? I have a lot.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, how about we kind of alternate between how he got there, and I do actually have some notes on the part that I watched.
Okay, go.
I want to let you, I don't know if you remember how it starts, but he's talking to Mr. Shallow. And Mr. Shallow kind of talks like this.
I mean, to me, it started with the song Kung Fu Fighting. Like that, the music was like, I don't remember, but the very first opening music was like, like, I don't know, but I was like, oh. So anyways,
well, we'll get there in a second. So Sky was sitting on the little bench by me, and like 30 seconds after hearing Mr. Shallow, he just peaced out. Like he was like, nope, went away. I was like, no.
Did you watch Mom, by the way? Did you watch
No.
Okay.
I watched it after Mom went to bed. I couldn't deal with that. The other thing, speaking of 80s music like Kung Fu Fighting, these actors get in each other's faces like it's a 1980s music video. You get each other's close-ups. What are you doing?
I did write a you need to calm down, sir.
Oh, what else needed to calm down? The horns. Do you remember the horns in the Hotspur scene?
And the whores. And I was like, no, I just wrote about how diseased everyone in this movie was after running around the whorehouse. The horns, yes, needed to calm down.
The horns needed to calm down. But like the way that he cuts the horns being like, and then Hotspur being like, we gotta go, we gotta fight this guy, and I'm gonna win England, and here we go. And his wife is like, wait, hey, come here. He's like, oh, I gotta go.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw a video when I was doing a little bit of research that said that Hotspur is so brat. And it made me jealous because I've been doing these TikTok videos where I'm trying to take quotes from Pride and Prejudice and turn them into Gen Z slang. And I think I now need to figure out, Lydia's brat. I could have Lydia code this brat. I'll find a way to do that.
Both.
And the other thing is you could watch this movie, quote unquote, and just play Spot the Twink because we were everywhere. And then at one point, Hal's dad calls his son a wanton and effeminate boy. That was like, give me a wanton and effeminate boy anytime. But I do think that is a really beautiful definition of a twink, a wanton and effeminate boy.
I think so.
All right, what else you got?
I think I'm going to start telling my students, you tread on my patience.
Okay.
I like that a lot.
Oh, if we're talking quotes, another one, so they get the call to go to war and Falstaff gets himself up and he's going out. And there's he's talking to two, they would have been at the Catholic Church at that time, but he's talking to two religious dudes. You can tell by their hats. And they say, your means are very slender and your waist is great. And they're talking about WASTE, like you don't have a lot of money, but you waste a lot, right? And then he turns it around and he's like, I wish that my waists were slender and my means were great. And he touches his belly.
Oh my God, that is such a dad move. I was going to say dad joke, but I didn't know people would understand that I literally just mean our dad.
Our dad joke. The other way that I don't know if dad, the problem is I wish I had seen this with dad. Like, I do wish I could go back in time and watch this with dad, because the other thing that Orson Welles does, it's not just the Falstaff and the obsession and all that. As the character Falstaff, Orson Welles does that really gross sweet face thing where he blinks rapidly. Like, I don't know if you remember dad doing that. Like,
No.
he would try to do this like cutie pie face. And I was like, you're not baby girl, like quit.
Like when the anime or the cartoons get like the big like eyes or something,
It's
or like,
kind of similar. It
can you try
just
to
is
do it right now for me?
no, because it's just gross. And I can't even send you pictures of dad doing it, because every time he would do it to the camera, I would just delete the picture immediately.
That kind of duck face. I did write down OMG those tiny stairwells.
Yes. Well, they were filming in real castles and shit. It was giving me prisoner vibes at one point, so that was kind of fun. Davy, a little twink, showed up, and he was David Bowie coded, so I thought that was real cute. And then I don't know that I've ever really paid attention to the speech about honor. It makes me so sad that dad idolized a man who saw no value in honor.
Does it make you? It makes you sad, but does it surprise you?
No, it doesn't. But like, did we deserve that? Did we deserve? I mean, literally, this is a man who, when he died, one of my thoughts was, well, I guess I could finally have a wedding now, because he wouldn't come on and Falstaff it up. Like, there'd be no point in having a wedding. He Falstaff Katie's wedding, and she's not even related to him.
Oh my god! Sorry, I'm just
Remembering how he Falstaffed her wedding.
oh my god, all the different ways.
I also liked it when Hal thinks he's dead on the battlefield. And he's like, could not all this flesh keep in a little life? And then Falstaff's like, just kidding. I'm not dead. I was just pretending. And that's where you get the very famous quote about the better part of valor is discretion, which usually people say discretion is the better part of valor. They say it the opposite way, which is fine. Which means don't be recklessly brave, avoid risk, because there's no value in honor. Our father, ladies and gentlemen.
So did he really mean like financial value? Like, since he was just money, obviously, like.
Well, so you've got to think, what does he value, right? Does it value honor? Then what does he value?
I mean, he's just like the ultimate hedonist, right?
Wine, women. I think he values being listened to, right? And you see with Hal, he values being thought of as someone wise and believable. He doesn't value truth, because he lies all the fucking time.
I mean, he values attention. Well, but it's like not even just attention, but like, because like in the research we did, it talks about like, I guess that this one is about how Hal abandons him for his father, right? So like how Falstaff has been this father-like figure to Hal in some ways, and how like Falstaff delights in amusing, but especially delights in amusing Hal. Like, it's very specifically about Prince Hal more than anybody else. Like,
For sure.
and then when Hal like abandons him to please his father, that it's like devastating to Falstaff or whatever.
Yeah, no, he tells him.
Which, I mean, definitely shows complexity of character and like how like you do care about more and you did feel deeply. But like, I want to know what happened in Falstaff's childhood.
Our Falstaff?
No, I know what happened in his childhood, but in the character's childhood.
I do feel like there's probably a dissertation or two on this. But watching the more, especially because we're watching a lot of Shakespeare right now, so it's like really, you start to see these patterns and themes. Shakespeare pleads for sleep like an ADHD gremlin. He's pleading for sleep in Hamlet. He's pleading for sleep in Henry IV, Part 1. Like, all these people are pleading for sleep. And so when people are like, he couldn't have written all this, I'm like, I mean, he could if he had ADHD and insomnia. Like,
Also, what else the fuck was he doing? Like,
well, he was married. He had
a job.
He was franchising out with his wife.
Well, but how much time does that take? Like, I mean, in a day. Like, if you think about the fact that, like, he wasn't, like, he didn't have a job. It was like,
Well, he wasn't.
right?
He was an actor before he started writing, but yes. And I think he was an actor even when he was writing, but yes.
Okay, but I mean, that's still part of. I just like, and then,
It made me feel like maybe this is part of why I've like deep down, I've had a love of Shakespeare because I too plead for sleep. I did accidentally read a little bit. I know you told me not to do any research into Orson Welles, but because I did a little bit of research on the movie, I did read a little bit about why Orson Welles may have been so obsessed with Falstaff, but I'll let you talk about it.
Well, you can go ahead, because I know I definitely went way deeper than you did, so.
Oh, okay.
Well, because it's basically its resemblance to his father. So he called Falstaff Shakespeare's greatest creation. And I don't know if he said it or if the speculation is because of the resemblance to his father. So then I was like, well, I got to find out what the fuck was going on with his dad, because I want to know, how did you get here? Like, my curiosity about mental health and how people become so fucked up.
Childhood trauma.
The trauma, yes. Like, what was Orson Welles' trauma, which then led me to what was his dad's trauma, which is, like, hard to get, right?
Okay.
There's not a lot out there. I will say one interesting thing. It's even harder to find information about Orson Welles' older brother.
Oh, okay.
Who apparently had a lot of mental health issues and, like, was a delinquent and got kicked out of the school. Like, they expelled from the school that Orson ultimately went to. But kind of going back to what you said about when dad died and you thought, well, at least I could have a wedding now, is that when at one point they heard that the brother, like his dad, like banished him from the family, the older brother. And years later, they heard that he had died in, like, I don't know, Tennessee or something, I don't know, somewhere. And the dad was like, basically like, well, at least he's not a burden on the family anymore.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I feel that. But then years later, it turned out he wasn't. Like, he miraculously showed up again, which also seems very Shakespearean, right?
Yes.
But, like, he was in mental institutions and stuff, but that's really all I could find out about the brother.
It's really hard when they have siblings that are institutionalized to get information, because it's such, like, a shameful thing that, like, typically you don't get a lot of information about that.
Like, especially in the past. Oh, I wrote this thing that, like, basically they talked about Falstaff being a tragic figure, that his wit and humor aroused merely by the fact that he wanted to please the prince, but that, so this is what Wells said about Falstaff, and that, but Falstaff had the potential of greatness. I know Dad felt like he also had the potential for greatness, but then also, like, but then that goes to his father. So basically his father was an inventor and, like, invented these bicycle headlights and actually made a lot of money. So when Orson was born, the family was really, really well off. I was also really surprised that he was born in Wisconsin, Kenosha, Wisconsin. Like, I think I've always thought he was English.
He doesn't sound English.
Oh, no. I mean, but if you'd asked me, I don't think I would have said, or even if you're like, hey, or if I was like, oh, he's English, and you're like, no, he's American. Where do you think he was born? I don't think I would have ever guessed Kenosha, Wisconsin.
But you wouldn't guess that for anybody unless they were standing in front of you and they sounded like they were from Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Like, true. Bits and pieces. So basically, like, at some point, his dad just became an alcoholic.
Yes.
Like, he hadn't always been an alcoholic. He became an alcoholic. So let me just go back, because then I found, like, a really long article from the New Yorker or the New York Times from, like, 1986. So basically, here's what happens, right? So, like, they have his brother who's 10 years older. He's an absolute disappointment, constantly getting in trouble. They have Orson. He's very sickly, very, 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 very sickly. When he's, like, 18 months old, they get this doctor to come to the house for something. And, like, somehow this 18-month-old Orson Welles says something to this doctor that makes him declare that the kid's a genius and a prodigy. So then for the whole rest of his life, people are treating Orson Welles and calling him a genius and a prodigy for his entire life. And, like, there are even books written about, like, what a genius he was. And I'm like, really? Most of what he did was a failure, right?
Well, War of the Worlds was, I mean, we still talk about that. Like, that is a huge thing. And then the fact that he then turned around and did Citizen Kane. Like,
okay, so Citizen Kane.
So if you think about a failure in the terms of those were the first two major things that he did, then yes, compared to those two things, it was really hard for him to ever reach that level again. but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that it was necessarily a failure. It was just like,
But like all of his plays, because he wrote a whole lot of plays and produced a lot of plays, and a lot of those were flops.
right.
And then Falstaff is like the last motion picture he ever made. So, anyways, but whatever. So his kid's like growing up his whole life being told he's a genius and a prodigy. So this doctor is Dr. Bernstein. He insinuates himself into this family based on obsession with this genius child with Orson Welles.
Ew. Mm.
Yes. But also basically starts having a relationship with the mom, who was like a famous pianist. And they are like pushing Orson to like music. And so this article is saying that basically the dad started drinking because he lost the wife and Orson, right?
Oh.
So Orson started calling the doctor Dada.
Oh.
Yes. So then you have this triangle, right? Like that you see with Falstaff and John and King Henry, or Falstaff and Hal, right? So like you've got Orson and his dad and Dada, all this stuff. They moved to Chicago, right? Like everyone's like, he's a genius. They put him in plays. He's like 5 years old. He's not going to school. He was like super sickly. He had diphtheria, scarlet fever, malaria, rheumatism, and severe asthma as a child. So he didn't go to school for most of his young formative years, right?
Right.
Very liberal arts education. Like his dad, like I guess at some point, I don't know when, it's hard to figure out when, the mom's having like this love affair with this Dr. Bernstein guy who's also coming to the house all the time and like pushing and working with Orson Welles and like all of this stuff. Mom dies of hepatitis.
Oh.
2 days after Orson's 9th birthday.
Oh.
Yes. So then there's like this huge argument and like this power dynamic shift between his dad and this Dr. Bernstein guy over who's going to like have custody or be in charge of him or whatever.
Right.
And so then he like ends up going with his dad and like traveling to Jamaica and all these things for a few years and just watching his dad be a drunk and a womanizer and like basically taking care of him for years and years. And then I guess Dada was like, gets him back and puts him with like a reverend who puts him in school. And then he ends up going to the Todd school, which is the one that his brother got like kicked out of. It's basically just like a reform school for wayward boys, right?
Okay.
So then he becomes obsessed with this guy, Roger Hill, who's like a teacher there. And like the more I read, because like you can get a little bit of Wikipedia, but then this article like goes into that. But like it's like he like talks about how everyone loved this guy Roger Hill, and all the boys wanted his good opinion and wanted to be his favorite. He becomes like the headmaster. He's very so then like his dad dies at some point, and so now he's got Dada and Roger Hill. And he asked his dad in his will said that Orson could choose who his guardian would be. And he asked this Roger Hill guy and he said no. So then it goes back to this Dr. Bernstein Dada guy becomes it. And it's just, I didn't get much further. Oh, so basically after his mom died, this Dada guy became like even more obsessed with Orson Welles. And in the article, Welles said, quote, I was my mother, and I kept the flames alive, is what he said about Dada's passionate preoccupation with him after his mom died.
Oh, wow.
So he goes to live, he went to go live with the child psychologist, somebody. And then he talks about, so when he's talking about Roger Hill and like all this and the boys and all of that, and then he says, like talks about at a young age, being the object of homosexual advances was not new for him. It is very likely to me that Orson Welles was molested.
Right.
Like I really believe that if not by this Dada guy, but because he was constantly around like acting, like he was always around adults. He was never around kids. He never went to school. His mother was like very much like, your only value is if you can be amusing, and if you can't be amusing, then you need to go away.
Franchise.
I understand, Like, Orson Welles was fucked up. But like, I really want to do more research because it is like the connections is insane. Because so then, like it said at one point, after his mom died, before he went with his dad, he ended up going to this like artist colony in New York that was started by this woman. So I looked him up, and where he became friends with this Prince Ali Khan. So I was like, oh, he became friends with a prince. Well, that relates to this. Let me find out more about who this Ali Khan person was. Ali Khan ended up marrying Rita Hayworth right at like a couple years after she divorced Orson Welles.
Oh, wow.
So they were both married to Rita Hayworth.
Mm-hmm. She's got pages of notes, y'all. Pages.
She had a fucked up life. I feel bad for the motherfucker. Like, I mean, he and his last wife were married up until like, I might read more about him because it's just like, oh, okay, well, this is just absolutely a treatise on generational trauma. But I don't think Orson Welles was a happy person.
No, I don't think.
It makes me think, like, I want to kind of go back and watch Citizen Kane because I think that would make a lot more sense knowing all this stuff about him.
Well, the main thing to know about Citizen Kane was that he didn't actually write Citizen Kane.
Oh, he just directed it?
Correct. Yes. There's a movie called Mank about the guy who wrote it and when he was writing it, and Gary Oldman plays that character. It's a really good movie. I watched it recently. I don't know, I guess I just didn't pay that much attention. I thought that Orson Welles had written it, but he didn't.
One other thing about his dad, too, that I think really shows this obsession with the Falstaff is so his dad, like, was really successful with the bike lights, but then like technology changed and he was like, I hate the, and like he kept inventing things, but like they were all failures. Like everything he did was failures, and like very much believe that he, like, the world's against him. He keeps trying. Does that sound at all familiar to anyone? To our own father?
I mean, Dad was a narcissist, so I can see that, but it's not like he had some great success. Like,
well, no, but I just mean, like,
other than his amazing daughter franchise that he created.
I think the success of these franchises are due to our hard work.
Not definitely.
Not his.
They are despite generational trauma.
Sorry,
not because
I'll not say nice things about our dead fathers.
Oh, that's upsetting to you on this Father's Day episode. Sorry.
We do say nice things, but we're just honest. You're also going to say the bad.
Anything else about Chimes at Midnight?
No, but
no. I was curious. Sometimes I'll go and I'll be like, what did Pauline Kael think? So this is a little short version of her review. She reviewed it for the New Republic and later anthologized in her collection Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, championing the film as a near masterpiece and one of Welles's finest Shakespearean adaptations. While Kael's reviews were famously exacting, she rhapsodized over Welles's cinematic achievement with several key takeaways. So the Battle of Shrewsbury, which this is the point where I was like, all battles just need to be sex scenes. I do not care. I do not care about a battle. I could not care less. Like, Kael was mesmerized by the chaotic, mud-soaked battle sequence. She famously wrote that it ranks with the best of Griffith, John Ford, Eisenstein, Kurosawa. That is with the best ever done. So, and apparently it was a bit of a cinematic achievement because he made it seem like he only had so many extras and he made it seem like he had a lot more and a lot of like camera tricks and things that he did that apparently were like a big deal if you give a shit about fight scenes, which I don't. She lauded Welles' bold theatrical choice to stitch together the definitive Falstaff narrative using portions of Henry IV parts 1 and 2, Henry V, Richard II, and The Merry Wives of Windsor. She praised Welles's rich, poignant performance as Falstaff and highlighted John Gielgud's refined, austere King Henry IV for providing the perfect emotional anchor. The core flaw, despite her immense admiration, Kael did express a substantial reservation. He noted that the film was ultimately short on comedy and felt it was difficult to truly see the deep, affectionate friendship between Falstaff and Prince Hal on screen. I will say that because I watched a lot of the Hollow Crown series, and they did Henry IV's parts 1 and 2 and Henry V. And that's the one where Tom Hiddleston plays Hal. And Simon something Beale, he has 3 names, I can't remember them all, plays Falstaff. And first of all, the tavern was actually full of people, and Hal's like all sweaty and like covered in beer. And like it has this kind of.
Oh, I remember you showing me a scene from that. I think
It's so good. And I think that their affection for each other, like it was, because in this one, it just feels like the whole time he's like shitting on Falstaff.
yeah,
And I think that they do a better job in The Hollow Crown of showing some of the affection between the two. So I would, and Falstaff is very funny. And in The Hollow Crown, he's very funny. So I would also say that, like, no, like it's not good. So then one last thing related to Falstaff before we move on, which is that, as I mentioned at the beginning, when you were like, what are you doing? And I told you I was reading from the book Falstaff and Equity and Interpretation. So written in 1901, it analyzes Sir John Falstaff through the lens of the legal concept of equity, arguing Falstaff embodies fairness and justice as a critique of rigid law. So he would prefer to have fairness and justice instead of law. Phelps, who wrote it, a lawyer, connects Falstaff's wit and disregard for authority to the development of equity as a system to temper strict common law, using a specific line from Henry IV as his starting point. The book is a work of legal and literary analysis exploring the intersection of law and Shakespearean character. So the page that I was reading.
So that book is about law?
It is an exploration of legal cases at the time that Shakespeare was writing. So he actually goes and looks at case law.
Man, maybe my trial class should read it.
I don't know about that. So now I just want to read that. It's a little bit long, but I'm going to read it anyway. I'll talk fast. We have now walked all around Falstaff's neglected appeal to equity stirring, and have found it foursquare like a house. Its front, as seen from the great highway of the ages, needs no special interpretation. All who pass by hastily will read it, as all who've gone by hastily have read it, to refer simply to the one idea of abstract justice. That's it. Abstract justice, that's it. That is enough for the million. Let them pass. Let them still follow the silent procession of commentators without a look or a word of intelligent appreciation. But to those who have the time and the taste to linger and explore, there are two gable-end aspects, one of rare historical interest, the other a unique and comical curiosity. And besides these, somewhat more obscurely seen in the rear, a domestic view over Shakespeare's backyard, rather too quaint, it must be admitted, for modern admiration. There may be minds so constituted as to find it difficult to admit this, or any other expression could have been used, even by Shakespeare, in four distinct senses at once. With any such, there need be no quarrel. Each of the interpretations suggested is entirely independent of the others. If they are supposed to crowd each other, let the fittest survive. But before rejecting either, let it at least be fully realized that we are dealing with an exceptional author whose intellectual habit it was to exhaust the meaning of the words he handled, and for that purpose, to select words rich in meaning. So in case you were wondering if Shakespeare really was a genius,
I think he was a philosopher based on that.
Thank you. That is it for this episode of I Love You, But. What made you laugh? What made you cringe? What did we forget? And what should we talk about in future episodes?
we want to know your thoughts. Find us on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at ILoveYouButPod, or email us at ILoveYouButPod@gmail.com. Listener email and comments may turn up in future episodes.
This podcast is independently produced by us. You can support our show in a few ways, like maybe tell all your snarky besties to listen.
Be sure to rate, review, and follow I Love You But wherever you get your podcasts. And now you can help offset our production costs with a donation to buymeacoffee.com/I Love You But Pod.
Thank you.
I'm Heather Davis.
And I'm Rian Davis, and we wish you lots and lots of conditional love.